Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Keene Unitarian Universalist Church, a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. I'm Mickey Cronin, and I have the honor of serving as president of our congregation this church year. There is much ahead for us. Worship, service, community, social justice work, and more. All with love at the center as we do the work for a more peaceful and just world. This month we celebrate Keene Pride, continuing our welcoming congregation work. And later this month we'll be participating with over 300 UUA congregations in the Climate Justice Revival. For more information, please join us for community and celebration in the parish hall just after the service. If you are new today, our ambassador is Deb McClay. Deb is available to answer any questions. Please, she'll be in coffee hour. New beginnings of a new church year. We welcome old and new friends, and we welcome our minister. Rowan Van Ness joins us from the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Burlington, Vermont. A graduate of Harvard Divinity School, Rowan has worked across the lifespan in religious education and chaplaincy and a wide variety of work. I speak personally as a search committee member. Rowan's warmth and kindness made me feel immediately comfortable and at ease. I look forward to us all getting to know each other. Thank you, Rowan, for being here today. We are grateful you have joined us today, whether in the sanctuary or virtually. Welcome. Now is the time to silence your phones, open your mind and heart, as we prepare to enter this time of worship. Our prelude is a British folk song, Water is Wide.
Welcome. I am your new minister, Rowan Van Ness, and I am so thrilled to be with you all this morning and as we start this new church year, during this time of transition between your last minister and wherever the future comes. Our opening words today are from the Reverend Manish Mishra Marzetti. He currently serves as the senior minister in our congregation in Ann Arbor, Michigan. River call. Between rocking the boat and sitting down, between stirring things up and peaceably going along, we find ourselves here in community. Each called from many different journeys, many different life paths onto this river road. Some are here because the rocking of the boat has been too much tumult, too much uncertainty, too much pain. Some are here with questions about where the boat is going, how best to steer it, and where this journey ends. Others are here as lovers of the journey, lovers of life itself. Here in front, beside, behind, each a passenger, each a captain, doing the best we can. Rest here in your boat with me, the river calls. Listen to how I flow, the sound of life coursing all around you. Let the current hold you, let the current guide you. The river that gently flows through your soul whispers, "Come, let us worship." I invite Andy to come forward to light our chalice. The unison words are printed in your order of service. We light this chalice to honor the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. I invite you to rise in body and/or in spirit to join in singing hymn 38 in the Gray Hymn Book, "Morning Has Broken."
Oh, what a lovely sight. Look at you all. Oh, I'm so excited. I almost want to cry. I just want to point out something. Like, everything is amazing, but this in particular. I want to thank Deborah Zagieski. Just lovely, just lovely. So guess what? I am the storyteller this morning. Mallory, I want to thank you for gifting me this opportunity this morning. All right, I'm wondering if there are any young people, young of mind, actually in size, whatever, would like to come up. All right, so if you notice this table right here, right, we're not going to go behind this. Imagine there's an imaginary line here, and we are going to be not facing out there, because guess what? You're an audience, right? Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. So, good morning, all. Now, I know that you've heard this story before, but there are some stories that you cannot tell too many times. And hopefully this is one of them. So this is the water bearer's garden. So most people claim that this originated in India, though some suggest China. So it could even be another place, I don't know. Does everybody know what a water bearer is? A water bearer. Any guess? A what?
Tardigrade.
A tard?
A tardigrade.
Tardigrade? What's a tardigrade? It's a water bearer? Well, we need to talk after. All right, so already I'm stumped. So a water bearer, so this water bearer with two pots hanging on the ends of a pole that he carried across his neck. All right, so there's one on this side and then there's one on this. Not so different than these two beautiful pots here. So, the water bearer was walking home from the stream where he gathered water. Now, one of the pots had a large crack down its center that allowed water to spill onto the ground beneath it. When the water bearer arrived home each day, he only had 1.5 pots of water with which to use. Of course, the uncracked pot was proud of his accomplishments, performing as intended. He didn't really brag about it, but he knew that the reason that all these flowers were blooming and that they were able to have enough water to wash dishes was because this pot was full. The poor cracked pot was embarrassed by its imperfection, the fact that it was leaking water everywhere, and felt a bit miserable about being able to accomplish only half of the work that had been made to do. It just didn't measure up. After 2 years of what it felt was failure, it finally decided to speak to the bearer by the stream. So the bearer is the one carrying the water, right? Let's make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, all right, this is good. So the cracked pot said, "I'm ashamed of myself, and I feel bad." "Why?" asked the water bearer. "What on earth do you have to be ashamed of?" "Well, for the past 2 years, I've only been able to deliver half my load of water because of this crack in my side, and I've been pouring water out every time we make the journey from the stream because of my floor. You aren't getting the full value from our efforts. I'm not able to do what my brother pot is able to do, and it doesn't feel good." Well, the water bearer felt sorry for the cracked pot and asked it to take a good look around on the way home. And as they went up the hill from the stream, the cracked pot took notice of the sun warming the beautiful wildflowers on the side of the path. And this cheered it some. But at the end of the trail, it still felt sad because it had again leaked out half of the load of water it was carrying. And so again it apologized to the water bearer for what it felt was a failure. The bearer asked the pot, "Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path and not the other?" "That's because I have always known of the crack in your side, and I took advantage of it. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back from the stream, you've watered them. For 2 years, I have been able to pick beautiful flowers to decorate my home and gift to my friends. Without you being just the way you are, we would not be able to do those things. I invite you to look around and see if you can find the flowers." See all the flowers? Like, who would have thought there were flowers growing under a piano? Oh, by the pulpit. I have never seen such a thing. The bearer said, "We all have our unique flaws, which are also gifts. We are all crackpots." I knew that about myself a long time ago. And I've watered many a garden and created quite a few weeds, but that's okay. We can all be the cause of beauty and know that in our weaknesses, we can find our strengths. Thank you for sitting there and giving me your attention. I feel really special this morning. Thank you for your gift of being a great audience. You may go back to your seat. No, actually, we're singing you out. Yes. Go, may joy surround you as you go.
This congregation, the very people in this room and online, own this building. You're responsible for this community, this congregation, and act together to make a difference in this community. I invite you at this time to give in support of the good works of this congregation in the baskets that will be going around momentarily. May your generosity be a blessing. Please take a moment to get comfortable in your seat and to take a deep breath. I will lead us in prayer together and then invite you to continue on for a moment of silence, for about a minute, for you to continue on in your own silent prayer or meditation. O loving and expansive Spirit of life, that which nurtures us all and which some of us call God, please be present here with us, this loving community of those gathered here this morning, both in person and online. May the words on our lips and the meditations in our hearts express our deepest longings, our gratitude for this abundant life, and the sorrow and regrets that weigh heavy on our hearts. As we enter into a time of so many new beginnings, the beginning of a new school year, a new year for our congregation, a new season of shared ministry, a new football season for those who care, and the approaching start of the autumn, we pray for new connections, new friendships, new ideas, new wins, new successes, and comfort when we fall short of what we're hoping to be and of what we're hoping to do in these fresh starts. We yearn to be our best selves, that others may be their best selves too. We ask that our mistakes be small and not hurtful to others. And in this time of senseless violence, we pray for those who are scared or grieving. We yearn for an end to gun violence and an end to war. We pray for peace. We also pray for healing for those who are sick and for those who are struggling financially, struggling with housing, struggling with loneliness. We are grateful to be together with others right now, to see familiar faces and new ones alike. We're grateful for the sunshine and the warmth, the growth and the harvest that this summer has brought us. And in coming together as a religious community, we're grateful for the opportunity to recommit to our values and to put love at the center. Please continue on in your own silent prayer or meditation.
I think this is working, and it sounds like it is. So we're going to do something next that's going to help get us ready for our water ceremony, and that is a percussive rainstorm. And some of you may have had experience with doing this kind of thing before, and for others it might be new. And for those of you online, you can just follow along with me. I'm going to start us on one side, and I'm going to introduce a motion. And as I am near you and looking at your section, please join me. And then I'm going to switch it up, and then we're going to together create this sound of rain. So hopefully this can remind you of your own experiences of water, and you can think about the meaning of the water that you've brought with you today, if you've brought some. And if not, we have some symbolic water that you can participate in our water ceremony in a little bit. So if you're over here, or if you're online, join me. And keep doing this. You don't even have to be a kid to play. Thank you all. I want to share with you a little bit about this ceremony that we're getting ready to do. I call it the water ceremony. Some congregations call it water communion, lots of different names. But every fall around this time of year, congregations, Unitarian Universalist congregations across the United States engage in this special ritual. And many of you probably have done so here before. I was raised Unitarian Universalist in Washington State, and this is a tradition that I grew up with. It is meaningful to me to be connected to Unitarian Universalists across the country and to know that people all over are engaging in this same thing. Many today, some a couple weeks ago, some probably next week or the week after. Even though this has been a part of my life for this long, for many years, for decades, it wasn't until I became an adult that I actually learned where this came from. The first Unitarian Universalist water ritual was an important part of the feminist movement within the Unitarian Universalist tradition. In 1980, there was a Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists, and two women, Carolyn McDade, who's a name you might recognize from the hymn books, and Lucille Shuck Longview, were invited to create a worship service for this convocation. And as they shaped the worship service, they wanted to create some kind of new ritual that would speak to our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet. They included a new inclusive symbol of women's spirituality, water. They write, "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence. Acknowledging the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came. It is the womb of life, and the amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally. And we now realize that this worship service they were planning was for us a new story of creation. We choose water as our symbol of our empowerment. And during that worship service, 8 women were invited to bring water from distant places to mingle together in a common bowl. And each of the women shared where the water was from and what meaning that water had in their own lives. One person spoke about the river outside of her home and how at different times of year it changed in speed and ferocity, just like her moods. Another person spoke of water from a river in her town and spoke about an image in depth psychology which tells us that each of our beings is like a well. If you dig down deep enough into the well of our beings, you will hit the groundwater that we all share. The groundwater which flows between and among us connects us to each other and to all that is. In a moment, I will invite you all to come forward down the side aisles and then returning back through the center aisle. And when you come forward, you can share water into this common vessel. And if you brought water with you, you're welcome to bring that up and put a splash in our vessel. And if you did not bring water, we have some water here, from this building, from the tap, that will symbolize whatever water, because all of the waters are connected. And at a later point, I will boil down this water, and we can use this water for other ceremonies or moments in our congregational life, such as child dedications. So at this time, I invite you to come forward and share in just a sentence, if you'd like, what meaning the water has for you, and if you'd like to share where it's from. And if you'd like to just pour some silently, you're welcome to do that as well. So come down the aisles.
The water I poured is from representative of the Adriatic, where my summer started this year.
This is water from Booth Bay, Maine.
This water is emblematic of, I just took a hike out in Wisconsin. I was hoping to do over 1,000 miles. I only did about a little over 100 because I had bad blisters on my feet. But one of the issues was lack of water. And a week ago, this past Friday, I was actually able to take a dip in Lake Michigan. And that was after 3 days with no shower. And the next day I was actually drinking water out of the lake unfiltered, and I didn't get sick, and I was very happy to have that water.
This water is from our pool, which we spent many an hour in entertaining our grandchildren, and it's been a wonderful summer because we had the pool, so we're very grateful for that water.
This water is from Lily's water dish, her last drink. And we loved her very much. She brought great joy to us. And we're looking for another lily, by the way.
We have brought water from Ferry Beach, which is a place of renewal and respite for us.
This water is in praise of groundwater everywhere. I know it's so precious. If you've run out of water coming out of your tap, then you'll know how just very precious groundwater can be.
This muddy little water is from a small pond in Vershire, Vermont.
This water represents the Hudson River, where I had a chance to go and visit the Storm King Sculpture Park, which is a wonderful tribute to the arts.
This water represents the St. Lawrence River, where it becomes the sea. It's tidal and a little salty there. I spent a beautiful week with my sister Catherine and Annika, and it rained the whole time.
This is symbolic water from the River Shannon, which I was lucky enough to visit Ireland this summer for 10 days with my friend Carol White. This bottle traveled there empty and came home empty, so that's why it's symbolic.
Water from the Magalloway River in northern Maine, where I spent a week at my cabin and had a peaceful retreat.
Well, following Deb, I also have symbolic water from our trip to Ireland in June. I'll say that since it's symbolic, let me think. This is from the Atlantic Ocean, that on the west coast of Ireland, and a connection with my grandmother.
This water is in honor of our tears.
This water is symbolic of the time that I spent in Churchill, Canada. I dipped my toe in the Hudson Bay and discovered it was really cold, so just the toe.
This water I scooped out of my canning pot yesterday in honor of our garden that we worked so much on, and a bountiful harvest, and now I have canned peaches.
My water is symbolic of my family's home in Greenland, New Hampshire, where we celebrated my grandson's graduation from high school and off to college.
This is Keen water, tap water, mixed cold infusion with true blueberry tea, representing the Ashwellet and the Connecticut River, and the first Connecticut lake, which I went swimming in this summer after riding my bike there.
This is symbolic water from Laurel Lake in Fitzwilliam, where we had many hours of really nice family time.
This water is from my aquarium that I've had for many years and gives me a lot of joy.
This water is simply a symbol of new beginnings.
This water is symbolic of the paddling pool water that I spent summer days with my twin granddaughters this summer.
This water represents Lake Tajmu on Martha's Vineyard, where I spend many nights on my friend's yacht this summer.
This water is from last evening's rainfall falling at our new house in Fitzwilliam, which led to the sweetness of the wet garden as in our walking down the path to the car this morning, as talked about in this morning's first hymn, one which I actually knew the tune to thanks to Cat Stevens.
This is for our grandchildren who were dedicated on Cuddy Island this summer on a family vacation. And last year when we had the first child dedication you've had in a long time, I never thought it would happen. And then right afterwards, my daughter approached us about dedicating our grandchildren. So that's it.
This water is from the well beside my garden at Covenant Living. I put down new roots there, and actually this water watered that garden, and some of the herbs that I grew are in the quiche that I brought for the potluck.
This water represents water from the Atlantic Ocean. We gathered at Acadia to celebrate my parents' 50th anniversary this summer, and we also had some nice day trips to Wells Beach to swim in the ocean there.
This is symbolic water of from around the Asheville area, where I was lucky to get to take my 4-year-old grandson swimming, who has all the confidence of being a swimmer and no skill yet. And it was a harrowing experience. My son and I kept looking at each other and saying, "Don't blink." And we'd haul him up from 12 inches under. But it was a wonderful beginning of supporting him to become a swimmer.
This water is representative of the removal of the fourth dam and the freeing of the Klamath River.
This water represents the waters of wonderful Marlborough, New Hampshire, and the tardigrades that live there.
This water symbolizes English Bay in Vancouver, British Columbia, where we got to live for a couple of years, 30 years ago, and got to visit this summer. And also the brook near our home here. It's good to be home.
I'm holding in my hand virtual water from Fish Creek Ponds up in the Adirondacks. We go every summer to join a bunch of other crazy teardroppers, about 100 for a week of relaxation and fun. So,
This is actually memory water. I'm reminded of a sweet childhood memory in Washington, Connecticut, on my grandmother's property. There was a spring which came out of a hillside surrounded by ferns and greenery, and it made a little pool, and we would go down there and dip the water, and it was the coldest, sweetest, purest water I remember.
This water is symbolic of Surrey Mountain Lake, where my kiddos and I would go swimming a couple times a week all summer long.
This final bit of water is in honor of those who are online or anyone who didn't come up for any reason, that knowing that that water is connected to us all. And at this time, I would like to invite everybody to rise in body and or in spirit and find hymn number 1008 in the Teal hymn book, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. may be seated. As Andy is coming forward to extinguish our chalice, please look in your order of service for the unison words we'll say. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. In the words of the Reverend Leslie Takahashi Morris, all that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a greater generosity of spirit, a deeper joy in this life we share. Go in peace.